We're now going to have a look at using TeamWork as part of the purchase cycle, workflows and approvals in Sage 300. We're going to have a look at a purchase request being approved, a purchase order being approved, and an internal usage being approved. Initially, for the purchase request, we can set the rules for the purchase request documents to say who approves what and how. And in our example, our rules are based on the document total. If the document total is less than $1,000, Anne approves. Otherwise, if it's more than $1,000, Anne approves and then Steve approves. So having a look how the rules can be set up in Sage 300, in the workflow rules, for any of the workflow templates that you have, and TeamWork comes with some 25 workflow templates, you can define as many rules as you want. So in this case we have two rules. The first rule says if the extended cost field on the purchase requisition header is less than 1,000, but we can choose fields from the header, the first line, or the optional fields, or have a rule for all the records. So if the extended cost is less than 1,000, Anne approves, whereas the second rule, all other records other than the ones less than 1,000, Anne approves and then Steve approves. So it's the ones over 1,000. So logging in to the chat app as Natalie. So Natalie is going to create two purchase requisitions in the app, and whether the requisitions are created through the app or on the Sage 300 desktop, the same workflow will apply. So the first requisition is going to have two items, and that will be requisition number 23. And then the second requisition is going to be over $1,000. So just for one item, but for a quantity of 100. And when it's saved, requisition 24 is created. So back in Sage 300, logged in as Anne, Anne can go to the workflow console and can see these two new requisitions have been created, requisition 23 and requisition 24, and they're both waiting for her approval. And any user using the Sage 300 desktop, when they review these requisitions, they will see the workflow has created a chat with the information regarding those particular workflows. So for requisition 24, where the total is over $1,000, a workflow has been started for two approvers, first Anne, then Steve. And requisition 23, it's less than $1,000, so only Anne needs to approve. Firstly, I'm going to use the workflow console to approve requisition 23. And when I approve the requisition, it will drop off the console because there was only one level of approver that was required. And now logging into the AC Chat app as Anne and having a look at those two new requisitions, look at purchase requisition 23, and you can see that the chat was created by TeamWork, by the workflow, and then the purchase requisition was approved by Anne. But having a look at requisition 24, which is also ready for Anne to approve, but Anne knows that Steve also needs to approve this. So as a chat user, we can discuss this purchase order, and I'm going to ask Terence if he is okay with this purchase requisition. Terence would see both these requisitions because he's been included in the chats on them, and would be able to go and comment back to Anne. So for requisition 24, he's going to give Anne some feedback. He can see the workflow request is waiting for Anne to approve and then Steve to approve. It's currently assigned to Anne. Can see Anne's question and can reply accordingly. And logging back into the app as Anne can see she's got one new message. When she clicks on it, she sees Terence's reply and can go ahead and approve this purchase requisition. But based on our workflow rules, Anne can now see it's now waiting for Steve to approve. And back in Sage 300, any Sage 300 user who has access to purchase requisitions can see the notes. So they can see that the TeamWork started the workflow. Anne asked a question of Terence, Terence responded, and then Anne approved. And it's now waiting for Steve to approve. So logging in as Steve, Steve can see purchase requisition 23 that Anne approved previously, and also see the full history of what's happening on purchase requisite 24 and waiting for him to approve. So again, he could collaborate with any of the team members of this chat, or if he's happy, he could go ahead and approve. And he sees it's now approved. And so does any Sage 300 desktop user. They can see the full history here as well. And the document has been taken off hold.